All right, what's up? It's Tyler here. Here we are. I've officially committed to my main race for the year, that being Ironman Japan. Pretty crazy. Never thought I would be doing a full Ironman. Sure as heck didn't think I'd be doing it on the other side of the world, but somehow the stars aligned and we're making our way over there, and I'm ready for this journey and excited to see where it takes us. So this is going to be the race to Hokkaido, and my journey along the way. It's going to be documenting the highs, the lows. Hopefully not too many lows. Hopefully it's just a lot of highs along the way. But of course there's going to be ups and downs. A little bit about kind of my history and backstory and training, or triathlon endurance training. In my past life, I competed in competitive bodybuilding. That is no longer really a priority for me. I found my interests shifting into endurance training. Last year, I started from ground zero. I had never ran. I've biked, never really cycled, road biked, anything like that, and never swam. I mean, naturally, I knew how to swim, but never swam a lap in my life. So really started from ground zero, and I just took all the things that I learned in my bodybuilding training of progressive overload and keeping it simple, and I applied those to started with running, biking, swimming, and then just networking and meeting people and learning from those who are much better than me and who have been around the block. I'm in the endurance world, I know nothing and I'm willing to learn everything. I'm a sponge and I'm absorbing it from anybody who will listen to me. I'm there to talk and I'm there to learn and just take it all in. This has been amazing. The people I've met have been amazing, and looking forward to a great season. So I guess we'll kick it off here with this past kind of couple weeks, month of real, I don't want to say race prep because we're still 32 weeks, give or take, away from the race, which is a long time, but also I have a lot to build. So we're gonna kick it off here. So coming off my 70.3, it happened during all the hurricanes in Florida. So I was kind of gone, traveling, evacuated, traveling, not able to train too much. But coming back from that, I continued training. I continued running, biking, swimming. The weather didn't really cooperate for biking too much, so I did have to pull back a little bit on that. But I kept up all the disciplines to keep my base there. Then over these past about month, 6-8 weeks into about Thanksgiving, I seriously I honed in. I got myself a Kicker Smart Trainer, direct drive, for my bike, so I have no excuses not to get those sessions in, being that we're in Florida and it gets dark. Well, it was getting dark at like 4:30, but I was able to use that to really build my bike. And to start off, I guess my focus has been bike and run. Those are my two weakest as far as distances. Out of the three disciplines, my swim is not the fastest, but I can hold the pace forever. That is not a thought of my mind. So talking with a few people with a little bit more experience, kind of put together a little bit of a ballpark idea. I'm swimming 2 days a week, one day being a little bit more interval pace based, second one being yardage based or just time based, trying to just log the laps, getting close to working in those high 3 touching 4,000 yard distances. Not too much there, trying to keep it mid 3s and just slowly build in that. My bike, I've been doing 3 sessions a week, 2 sweet spots, 1 long ride. Sometimes adding a 4th session on Sunday as like a long recovery ride, but that's not mandatory. But it has been very useful in building up my endurance. Since I've started implementing these sweet spot sessions, once again, progressive overload, slowly building on these, adding in an extra interval, adding in a couple minutes, adding in elevations, adding in greater efforts. During those sweet spot trainings, I can already tell that my long rides have benefited crazy. I am now very strong, and going in, pushing into those 80, 100-mile rides, which I haven't never touched up until this prep. I could hardly, at the 70.3, 60 miles seemed long to me. Now that's a warm up. And my legs feel strong, even with hills, elevation, no matter what it is. So those 2 sweet spot sessions, roughly an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes per week with my long ride. I started at 3 hours, 3.5, 3:45, 4, 4.5, 5. Now this past week was my first century ride, if you can call it that, being that it was on a smart trainer. I don't know, it was a brutal course, 5,000 feet of elevation, actually 5,500, which going for Ironman Japan is great. Looking at the course preview, it's about 5,000 feet gained over the 3 laps. So it was a good test, and I finished it in about 5 hours and 20 minutes, and it felt great. Aside from sweating like it was nobody's business, I felt strong throughout the entire 5 hours and 20 minutes. I even put forth some big efforts on the climbs at the end, or maybe they just felt like big efforts. I don't know, it could have just been the 5 hours. This week was my first brick though. I don't know why I decided to do this to myself, but post century 100-mile ride, I decided I was going to go out and do just a mile. Took about 2 to 3 minutes. My legs were locked up. They loosened up and it felt amazing. Out on the run, they felt so strong. I was able to push low 8-minute efforts, which not the fastest, but pretty fast for me. I'm not a fast runner. I'm more of a long runner. And even worked down into the high 7s for the last half a mile or so, and pushed it to 2 miles because it felt so good. I just, why stop? So that was a great gauge in my progress and what I've built, because I had not touched mileage like that, time in the seat like that, and then pushing a big brick. I mean, I haven't pushed a brick since maybe August of last year, before September, somewhere in there, for my last 70.3 prep. So that's kind of, bike has been on the up and up, and that's exactly what I needed to finish this Ironman strong. That's my bike. It's been going great, just continuing to build, hoping to put together a program where I can hopefully get a TT bike. I got it picked out, I got it in my mind. I'm gonna get it one way or another. I'm gonna make it happen, so that'll definitely elevate my program and comfortability for 6 hours on the saddle potentially. Hopefully not, but if it is, I'm gonna make sure that I do it right. Still maximizing my road bike with aero bars set up. It's been great. It's been great for a budget setup. It's a phenomenal bike, but I'm ready to take it to the next level. So with that being said, my runs, I've been focused on just kind of maintaining what I have. My focus has been bike. I got a lot of traveling coming up. It's all falling on the weekend, so that really throws long runs, long rides, throws it for a loop, especially if I want to do them outdoors. It's going to be a lot of very late nights on the trainer, and that is no fun. So I'm trying to make the most of that while I can, and I'm not traveling as much to make sure I'm getting those long rides in and logging that time. So building that base. Then when I'm done traveling, going to have a solid 12, 15 weeks to just lock in and then really prep for the race. This is always a prep, but specific race prep, race efforts and everything will be kind of implemented a little bit closer. So that being said, with the run, my legs have definitely been fatigued. So I've been just trying to once again, progressive overload, build a little bit of mileage every week, build a little bit of time on the feet. So my runs kind of alternate on bike days. So Monday, Wednesday, I'll typically do a run roughly 6 to 8 miles, depending kind of how I'm feeling. Sometimes I may put some intervals in there, or sometimes I may just do a solid zone 2. It really depends how I'm feeling. So that's typically Monday, Wednesday. Sometimes Friday I'll go out just to shake my legs out before the long ride. That's just a super easy effort, 2 to 3 mile run, just to to keep everything warmed up, everything loosened up from anything that happened over the week or the bike ride Thursday night, to make sure, because once again, my effort is that long ride, because that's going to make or break. And I'm going to finish that bad boy strong. So I'm going to make it on that bike. So that's been my run strategy. I'm going to be implementing shorter bricks right now and just kind of building up in that. Nothing too crazy. And just building time on the feet. My long runs, I was about an hour and 20 minutes this week. Will probably be an hour and 30. And then just kind of keep progressing it up from there. And about every 5th week is when I'm pulling back on the intensity. So focusing more just zone 2, let my body kind of recover, let my body adapt and get ready for that next push. That's about every 4th, 5th week. I don't have per se scheduled off days. I listen to my body. Typically Friday or Monday is my rest day, whichever one I feel more beat up on. Or if I'm beat up on both of them, I'll just take a rest day both days. But that probably means my volume's too high elsewhere, my food or sleep or stress or something's happening. So typically it's 1 day a week completely off, and still maintaining my strength training sessions, because I love lifting weights. Once a bodybuilder, always a bodybuilder. Can't really get too far away from that. But it would be nice, because I'd free up another couple hours to train for this. My girlfriend might not like it, but we'll see. I still want to maintain a minimum 2 to 3 days of weight training, nothing record breaking, just trying to keep, when it comes to lower body, my lower body strength there, keep my knees strong, my calves strong, keep everything mobile, working through the full range of motion. It really is kind of injury prevention and just maintaining the muscle I have. Don't want to build any, but I really don't want to lose any either. So we'll see how that goes as my hours continue to build. This week it was about 13 and a half endurance hours only, so swim, bike, run. Most of that being the bike, although I did have a good hour swim, which isn't the most common for me at this time. But I did get a good long run, good long swim, and long bike in. So that compounded. Typically it's been closer to the 12 and a half, 13. But once again, just progressive overload, trying to build, pull back, let your body adapt, and push to continue to break those barriers down. Now, I don't know much. I'd like to say I know nothing about this. It's all been a huge learning curve, which I'm loving every minute of it. I told myself a year ago that I would never run. Started running, did a 5K, 5K, but that's what kind of gave me the itch to keep going. Next thing you know, did a sprint distance, an Olympic distance at 70.3, and I'm like, I'll never do a full Ironman. It doesn't appeal to me. This thing came up, and here we are 32 weeks out. It's paid for. I'm committed to it. Tickets booked, airplane, hotel, train, everything to get there. So we're doing the dang thing. It's pretty exciting. Don't know what to expect, but I know I'm here for it. If you want to follow along, I'm somebody who's amazingly average, we'll say. I'm dedicated, and I'm going to work hard and use all the tools that I have, all the resources around me, the people who have way more experience than me, the groups, finding groups, whatever. If you want to follow along, I'm going to be kind of keeping more detailed training log, maybe weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Haven't really settled in on a plan there, but covering the topics that I wish I knew when I kind of started this. I didn't necessarily know where to look. I trained zone 2 training for about a year without even knowing what zone 2 training was, just by instinct. And it worked great, obviously. So I'd like to share these tips and pass along the information to help that learning curve be a little bit better for anybody to follow. But like I said, I don't know anything. I'm not a coach. I know what I know, and I'm using the resources around me to document what I have. I guess we'll see if it works. Just taking a smart approach and learning a lot. That's the biggest thing, is I'm never going to stop learning. So come along on this learning journey and suffer fest, may do marathons. Don't know what's going to happen along the way, but take you guys through it. If you have any topics you want to cover or things that maybe you wish you knew and maybe I know or I've touched on just a little bit, and you could drop a comment. Check out my social medias. I'm a little bit more active on that, but plan on releasing a lot more kind of topic related long ride preparation sessions. How do I feel for my long ride, my long run, shoe choices, food choices, gym choices, what to look for in a bike, what to look for in a shoe. Just all these things. Definitely plan on implementing these and showing them from not an expert, because I feel like all these videos are so high level that you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, talking about all the different zones and heart rates and watts this and watts that and super shoe this, super shoe bike or super bike. You need to spend $8,000 on a bike, otherwise just ride the crappy road bike. There's definitely happy mediums. It's not a sport where you have to be wealthy. It's just you have to be dedicated. There's ways to do it on any budget with kind of the only thing you need to have is time. If you have time, you can be great. So follow along and the race to Hokkaido, and we'll see you soon.